Injuries. It's a unique week. We have a lot of guys that we're hopeful that they can turn around, but have a lot of little issues. So I'm not going to give you full updates, and hopeful that some of the questionable guys can turn around and be ready to go. We want to put a strong team on the pitch. We know 6,000 fans are going down. I know the history of us losing 21 years ago at Cardiff, and we expect that they'll be very spirited for this match. So we want to put the best team we can on the pitch. Patrick was in training today, so that was a big step in the right direction. Not predicting him to be ready for the match, but at least in training. Adam will probably not be available for this match, but should be training next week. And then Stewart had a follow-up operation because they thought they had a little bit of an infection, so they just cleaned that out. But he's back and feeling good. So that's that.
Thanks, Jesse. Just
Yep.
picking up on Stuart then, is that another operation on the back of the other one he had?
Yeah, so he had his first operation, then he had the second one because they felt like there was some things limiting sensation in his knee. So they went in and they took out a couple of screws and they cleaned a little bit of the knee area up. And then from that, he picked up an infection. So then he went back and got another surgery, but he's feeling good and back home.
Encouraging about Patrick Bamford. What about Luis Sinistero? Where's he at?
Yeah, Luis, sorry, I didn't mention him. He was on the pitch individually today, looking really strong, sprinting and running and looking close to, let's see, I don't want to talk too early, but we're hopeful that at some point next week he's back in training.
Okay.
So that's really
We're
positive.
Not really thinking this weekend.
No, he won't be ready this weekend.
It's your first experience, Jesse, in the FA Cup as the head coach. So what experience have you had outside of being involved in it, and what does it mean to you?
Well, the FA Cup final is a big thing in the US too. So even before I was a professional, a lot of people get up early on Saturday, Sunday mornings to go to pubs in the US and watch the FA Cup final. So it's a big, I think, that even the vernacular of it's the FA Cup final, this is a big match, I think, even in the US. So the opportunity to compete in it. The US Open Cup I won as a player, I think 4 or 5 times. And I always valued the cup matches as a chance to win a tournament, win a trophy. So obviously here the challenge of winning the FA Cup is massive, but we're excited about it.
And how much are those 6,500 fans of motivation for you to please and give them something after a horrible run over the last 21 years?
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about the recent history of some of the matches. I've heard about the history between Cardiff and Leeds. Leeds has obviously won this tournament with Don Revie. So, it's kind of in the blood of the club still. And I think we want to make sure we represent ourselves in a big way down in Cardiff. It means a lot that our fans are going down there and that we want to put a good team on the pitch.
I don't know if you remember, Jesse, back in August, Angus Kinnear, the chief exec, said that him and Victor particularly have had a really poor run in the competition. Are they still aligned with your thoughts on this, that they want to go for it as well? It's to the club.
Angus subtly spoke to me last week and said maybe we should focus on having a good FA Cup run. I said, message received.
Excellent.
Yep.
Max Berber, how's he settled in, and are we likely to see a debut from him?
Max is, I think, settled in really well. He had a good training session today. I think, again, he understands what I'm looking for out of him and out of our team, and so we'll see how fit and ready he is for this match, but he will be in the mix.
And how much do you feel it is your team now, Jesse, now that you've had a few players come in, including Max?
To be honest, I felt like this has been our team from the start. I never look at it as these players were from the former manager and this is from the new man. My time, and when you work with a team, you want to try to maximize the potential of every player and of the group as a whole. The reality is most of the players, when you go to a new team, you inherit. You don't. It's been the club has been very supportive about trying to bring some players that I think could fit what we're trying to achieve here that I've worked with in the past. But I never look at it that way. I enjoy getting to know people from different cultures and getting to maximize the most out of what a team is, and I've enjoyed that here, and I've been welcomed here maybe as well or better than anywhere I've ever been.
And finally for me, Joe Gallagher, he's had limited minutes. I think it's just over half an hour in the last 5 games. How is his confidence, Jesse, and how much is that helping him do that, or how much is it getting away from him?
I was not happy, and I told Joffrey right after the game that I should have put him on earlier. And I was just I thought Willie was doing well. I thought Rodrigo was doing well. We had just put Jack in, and Jack was doing well. Clicky was doing well. So it wasn't so easy to just take one of those players off the pitch. But from the 80th minute, from the 75th minute on, I wanted to get Joffrey on the pitch. Because I know him, and I know he can make plays. I know when the game is like that, and we're pushing, that he's one that can make the difference. So I wasn't happy that I didn't put him on earlier. And then, I think he's been training really well. I think he had a really good run up to this moment when we had our second preseason. And it's just that Rodrigo's been a big piece of what we've done, and he continues to play so well and score goals. So it's not so easy to take him off, but we can still use Joffrey and Rodri at times as well.
Thanks, Jesse.
Yep.
Hi, Jesse.
Hi.
Do you share the view that Sunday is, well, on paper anyway, looks like an ideal fixture for the players to make a genuine statement of intent? Everything looks to be in place. Cardiff have got injury problems. Their league position is precarious. I know that's not the focus on Sunday, but just as a standalone fixture,
I
how
think
do you feel?
I've been on sort of different ends of what a cup match can be, on the David and Goliath as player and manager. And I think it's really important to understand that for both teams, it's really important. We have to expect the best out of Cardiff. Going down there won't be easy. It's when we got the draw, we weren't happy because we thought this would be very difficult. So our mindset is to prepare for a very important match in a good way and make sure that the group we put on the pitch represents exactly what we want to be.
On a personal level, have you dreamt about lifting the FA Cup with Leeds United, or going deep in the competition?
It's so, I mean, talking about raising trophies right now, we're not at that stage as a club, but you don't do this without that kind of focus in mind. We're continuing to try to build a process here that's about improvement week by week, year by year. But even seeing what Crystal Palace did last year, I think people that it still is a reminder that the possibilities are there, but you have to just take it one stage at a time.
2/3 of possession on Wednesday against West Ham, and 3 times as many shots on target. You spoke after, Jesse, about players playing without a lack of fear. How do you try and get that message across them, being brave on the ball, showing enterprise and industry and all? I guess all the other pieces look to be in place, don't they? It's just
what we've seen from our group a lot this year is that against the big opponents that we play aggressively, especially against the ball or defensively. And then, we try to find ways to capitalize in transition and still trying to find ways to command the game with the ball. And then there are other opponents that we play that on the day we think we can be better than. And I want to see our team play from the beginning in those matches with more courage, with more endeavor, and to be able to, in those kinds of matches, push our level to be better, right? And so at 2-1, I thought, and at 2-2, I thought we were really strong in the match. And the question I posed to the team this week, or after the match, is why can't we look at like that at 0-0? And why can't we find a way to believe in ourselves and play with that kind of confidence and aggression from the start, and let teams know that when they come to Ellen Road that they're not going to be, that we're ready to suffocate them, that we're ready to be on top of the match. Now, obviously, every team in West Ham has quality, every team has quality, so it's not so easy. But we still, in my mind, play a little bit too passive and too safe. So I've got to continue to build that mentality and the tactics of that mentality into what we do.
Wilfred Gnonto scored his first goal for the club on Wednesday, 19 years old. Looks like he's already, becoming a bit of a cult hero at the club. You will have come across emerging talent throughout your career before, Jay. What are your observations about how good he could be?
Yeah, I think what you see is a combination of confidence and belief and quality. And so that's usually with young players that have big potential, what you like to see. And so he's been a lot of fun to work with. He takes on information really well. He has flexibility to the way we use him. So this game we used Cree a little bit more as the wide player and Willie a little bit more in the interior. He had certain moments where I thought he did really well, certain moments where his understanding of what that role is can continue to grow. But you see confidence in him right now. And I think it's partly about a run of games that he's had. And then adapting to the league and adapting to what we are asking of him. So that part's been good. And, once if we can get Cree fully fit and sharp, him, get Luis, then we have Brendan and Jack, and then we start to build, and then obviously with our strikers, a real complement of attacking players that can be a lot of fun to work with.
I just wanted to ask you about Jack Harrison. Jesse came off against Newcastle, substituted against West Ham. Is that just you looking at bringing other players into the mix? Is he in the frame for Sunday? Yeah,
he's still physically not at 100%. So, playing him 90 minutes and starting him both games from the start, we just made the decision to try to protect him a little bit. But I think Jack's in a really good place. I think he performed well against Newcastle, and he performed really well when he came on into the match a couple nights ago. So, Jack is a big part of what we're doing here, and we need to just get him fully fit so that we can push him back to 100% in every way. Yep.
You expected Archie Gray to play this season when we spoke in the summer.
Yeah.
Injuries have just robbed him of that chance so far. How close is he now?
He's currently ill. So I was told he had really high fever today. So he's not here. His injury, we feel like we've been very cautious because it's the type of injury that if we aggravate it more at his age, it can cause problems down the line. So we've wanted to be cautious. And I think the steps we've taken have put him in a good place that he's close to accelerating now and getting himself really back on the pitch. Obviously, no one's more frustrated than Archie. But he's young, and we have to be patient with him. And we like him a lot and we like his mentality, but we just want to make sure that we're addressing his physical needs in the right way.
Alfie McCalmont's found himself in a strange situation, having been out on loan previously, not got that this season. How hopeful are you that he'll get a move to go and play, and what's he been like around your place?
Alfie's trained really well and played really well in the last 6 weeks. Made the biggest impression on me in his time here so far. So that part's been great. What exactly the decisions are for loans with different players aren't all clear quite yet. For them, they get their season going today. So they play at Nottingham tonight. And like I said, Alfie's been training more often with the first group and doing really well in training and in the test matches. So I expect him to have another good match tonight. And then I think we'll continue to think about exactly what the path is for him and players in that same category of trying to figure out, do we want to send them to get more real matches, or do we feel like keeping them internal and working on their process here is better?
Hi Jesse, we spoke briefly about your plans for replacing Mark Jackson at Newcastle. Can you touch on that in more detail now about how you want to replace him and who that might be?
We're incredibly close. I don't want to say anything yet, but I said last week that I thought we were a couple days away. I'm going to say right now we're a couple days away. But we've made the decision and we've had negotiations, and we're just kind of trying to iron out all the details so that we can announce it.
I know I ask about Cody every other press conference, but this week, more than ever, going away to Cardiff.
Going to Cardiff.
Well, this seems like the perfect kind of game to show him he will play here.
Yeah. So Cody will play some minutes tonight in Nottingham, and then we'll address what we need from him. He'll be in the squad for sure, and then we'll see exactly how we decide to use him. So. I know it's sort of contradictory when I've been saying I'm really happy with Cody, but then haven't included him in the squad. But I'm really happy with Cody, really happy. And we've got to figure out exactly how to challenge him moving forward as well.
Thanks, Jesse.
Yep.
Jesse, I'm asking this from an English perspective, but obviously you've got a more sort of international perspective on it. As the years go by, it seems like Champions League qualification is more important, or European qualification, or staying in the league. Do you feel like the importance of actually winning trophies is being diminished?
It depends on your status as a club, I think. For me, I guess because I've won a lot of trophies, that means a lot to me. Means a lot to me. Now, for me, even managing this club and where we are, it's a little bit different experience for me as well, because I've been mostly with teams that are on the top side competing for titles, which then changes the mindset of even how you manage. And for me, I'm just trying to continue to create a mentality and mindset here that's not just about survival, that's about building, that's about a process. But the pressures of this league and where we are as a team mean that that's one of the hardest things to do, is to relieve the idea of looking at the table every day. But it's not my focus and it's not my emphasis, but I understand what the realities are for players, for the club, for fans, for everything. But really trying to stay in the moment is probably the most important thing, and maybe the hardest thing for all of us to do on a daily basis. And I think but the more that we can actually execute that and stick to a plan and focus on development, I think the better then we can control results. And that's trying to convey that is really important for me. But in a moment like this, obviously you can't go into matches and not say that the results are important, because they are, especially in a cup. It's either we win or we're out. Or I guess, or we draw and we come back and play. So that's the one variable. But in the end, we want to go down there and focus on performance. And if we feel like we do that, then we can have a good chance of winning.
So, I mean, can the cups help in a way? Because in the cups, you've no choice but to look forward. There's no question of looking at the other results and seeing where you are in the league table. So, in terms of sort of developing the mindset of this group, can it help to sort of take you to different places?
We believe that a cup run can give us momentum. Yeah. If that's what you're saying, we believe that. And even when we chose to play the lineup that we did against Wolves, it wasn't thinking that we were throwing in the towel. It was, given where we were at that moment, we felt to give ourselves the best chance in that tournament as well as against Tottenham. That was what was necessary. If we would have beaten Tottenham when we were up on them late in the match, I would have, even losing to Wolves, I would have thought that we got a lot out of Wolves, that we played pretty well. We're a little bit unlucky to lose that match, and then we would have won Tottenham, but it didn't work out that way. So, but the strategy for this match is certainly with enough break in between to get as many guys prepared to play as possible, and then to make sure we have a team that will go after it in every way.
No, it's fine.
Hi Jesse, just going back to Cardiff, they're a real bogey team for Leeds. I think they've won 14 games against Leeds since they knocked Leeds out of the cup back in 2002. I think Leeds have won only 3.
Wow.
Does that have any bearing, a psychological bearing on how you prepare, or for the players, or is it a new team?
Well, this is why I think even when we got the draw, the club was like this. We spoke about it. And we knew this was going to be a difficult draw for us. It's a bit of a long way by English standards, not by American, but by English standards. And so I think, but again, for me, it's about having a clear mindset and expecting the best from them, and being ready for that. And so it'll be a cup fight. And I think our ability to play the way we want to play, but to understand exactly the mindset of the opponent, will be very important, and for us to be ready for a real match, absolutely, in every way.
Right, we'll move on to the embargo section if that's all right.
Yep.